Well, hey everybody, and welcome back to Kiki's Kitchen. I hope you have been enjoying what I've posted for you this week, and I will tell you, my faves are the chicken parm. You gotta make that chicken parm. It's just too good for you not to. Today, I am preparing, I got about 18 pounds of boneless pork shoulder, pork butt, and I'm getting ready to get that all in the oven. I have an event coming up. And quite honestly, I like to get them done. I like to freeze them in their roasting juices, and it just develops more and more flavor and makes them so tender. So I'm gonna do it today, let it cool, pull it, and then freeze it. So that's my plan. And I know that I have given you my meat rub. I use it on pork, I use it on chicken, I use it on beef. It is awesome. I like to eat, even if you take a little tater tot and roll it with a piece of bacon or anything like that. My green bean bundles, you know, when I take a thing of fresh green beans and wrap it with bacon, put them on the baking sheet, I sprinkle this on there. Now, this is what I normally keep it in. I have these little cans, and this is such a cool thing, and actually I found these and I've given these away as Christmas gifts with my spice in them. And there's my spice, but that's not quite enough for 17 pounds of meat. And it comes with this little thing so that I can pry it open. I am gonna put this in here because I like to keep it moving, meaning I like to keep it fresh. So, although spices don't really go really bad, especially at the rate I use them, but I do like to keep it turned over. So I will put that in the bottom and I will add to that with it, which is what I'm gonna do for you today. At the bottom of this thing, it has a little magnet so that my little tool to open it will stay put. I think that's so cool. So if I've given you one of these, just know that there is a magnet on the inside for the little tool. Anyway, this is a simple rub. I keep it on hand so that always I have it. I put it on top of burgers, put it on top of chicken. It's great for chicken. It's just a great all-around rub. So you need to know how to do it. Pay no attention to, so what the recipe that I'm gonna give you is gonna make you about this much. Maybe a little bit less, but you can always double, triple, and then get to the point where you eyeball it. It's just a taste thing, it's just a taste thing. So we're gonna start out with one of the most important ingredients, which is this. This is sugar in the raw. It is a brown sugar, but it won't burn. So that's the greatest part about putting it on your meat rub, because brown sugar is a great thing to put on your meat rub, but the fact that brown sugar burns because, it's sugar, when you want to do something on the grill or low and slow, then, regular brown sugar will burn. This is awesome. So, so pay no attention to the amounts I'm using. I will give you the amounts that you want for a normal person to begin with. To begin how you develop your rub. So that is turbinado. Next is coarse kosher salt. Next is crushed red pepper. Now, if you don't like spicy, you can always leave it out, but I encourage you to put a little in. A little will just give it flavor. It won't light you up, I promise. Next is dark chili powder. Next is granulated garlic. And actually I did see this at Walmart, but I saw it in this size and it was like $10. And I know for many of you that would be a lifetime supply. So, so this is the size that I get at Costco, and it's perfect. But I don't really have a Costco near me, so I have to kind of do that when I'm in Charleston. Paprika. Minced minced onion, minced dried onion. Ground mustard. And ground cumin. Oh, I forgot black pepper. Never forget black pepper. Okay. Take your whisk. Whisk it well. I just had a lump of something. Make sure you get all your lumps out and blend it in well. Now I keep this in that, but when I have a whole bunch of it, I keep it in one of my little plastic quart containers. Make sure you shake it well, because some of these seasonings are heavier than others and will sink to the bottom, such as the dried onion and the roasted red pepper. So it'll all kind of go to the bottom. You don't want that to happen, so just give it a good shake, shake, shake in whatever you stored it. I want to get the bottom, make sure it's all mixed well. And then I want to take from the middle, and I got to taste it. Good. Good, good, good. It's got a nice, okay, I'm really feeling the salt, actually, and that second taste. So I'm going to add a little bit more sugar and balance that out. And that's what you do. But the combination of these together, and it could have certainly just been that one spoonful that I pulled out of there. But like I said, these together are just awesome. And that's perfect. Yep. Yum. I mean, just yum. I put this on my popcorn before. It's just really, really good. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move forward with my meat. And there are pulled pork videos out there, at least 2 or 3. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take regular old yellow mustard, and I'm going to go through every little nook and cranny of this meat. And then I'm going to go and season it heavily with every little nook and cranny. Maybe I'll even actually show you that, just because why not? I'm going to show you also today how to make barbecue sauces. So hang in there. Okay, I'm going to throw a little of the pulled pork instruction into this video. But really, if you want to know how to do a pulled pork, go to the little 3 dots, click on it, and go to my page. Got to go to my page first. Go to the little 3 dots on the right-hand side. Click on it. Go to the next page. It'll say search. Click on that. And then just put in the words, the key words of what you're looking for. In this case, put in pulled pork, and it'll come up like 3 videos. I'm going to show you real quick what we're doing here. So here's here's the rub that we just did, right? So, and you want to be careful when you're doing this not to touch your spoon to your meat, because if you do, you have just you cannot put that spoon back in there because you will have contaminated everything in there. So, just saying that. This is a boneless pork shoulder. Pork butt. I take that back. It's a boneless pork butt. So it's got a lot of nooks and crannies because they've taken the bone out. I like boneless because I think they're more tender. People would argue that a bone-in has flavor. I think there's a tough muscle around that bone, and that meat around that bone has got that muscle. While the muscle may be, there's a lot of that that's cut out when you take the bone out. Either way, I do them both, whichever is truly a better price, because the yield is about the same. You know, you pay a little higher price for boneless, but you know, you pay a little less, but you're paying for the weight of the bone. So anyway, this is all with plain old yellow mustard in every single little nook and cranny. I have it in this tin pan because that's what I'm going to dress it in. That's what I'm going to season it in. And then I have it in my big giant roasting pan with a rack on the bottom, and I have sprayed the sides well. I have also sprayed the lid that goes on this, the dome lid that goes on this, because it splatters up and that just makes for easy cleanup. But anyway, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to kind of make it rain on top of it, but I am not shy with this. And I want to lift up and get in there in every little nook and cranny that I can. And I'm going to rub this in here first, but I want to lift up the insides of it and get it everywhere. Make sure you can see. Can you see that? Every little opening gets this rub on it. This is an awesome rub. Make sure you get it down on the sides. My hands will be an interesting shade of yellow when I finish. I'll look a little on the sallow side. I'm putting them in the sides. So I get down on my sides. So now I have all of my little pieces. Woo. Make sure that I don't have anything that comes up on this. You always do this fat side up when you put it in the roasting pan. Just like if it had a bone, you would always do it fat side up. All right, so I've got that all seasoned well. And into my pan it's gonna go. And I will move on to my next one. So that's that. I'm going to move on and get this going. I'll be back to you when I get these in the oven. Okay, they're seasoned and ready to go into a 450-degree oven. I will set the timer for 20 minutes and then I will not open the door. I'll reduce it to 325, and from there I will put the lid on it and it will go about 3 hours. So you will not see this. I'm just telling you, if you want to see the full pulled pork video, go to my page. I'm just showing you as an aside for this. Now I'm going to move on to making some barbecue sauce. So hang in there. Okay guys, we're back. And I did want to correct something that I just said to you. I said to turn, you're going to do your pork at 450 for about 20 minutes and then just turn it down to 325. Well, you got to open the door because you want to put the lid on it. So the first 20 minutes at 450 is uncovered, then open the door, put the lid on it, close the door, and it goes 325 for another 3.5 hours until it's fork tender. Again, go to the video. So we're coming back now and we just made our meat rub, and now we are going to make a barbecue sauce. I'm going to make 3 barbecue sauces for you today. I'm going to make a Carolina Gold, which is what we're going to start with. I'm going to make my mama's spicy red, and then I'm going to make an Alabama white sauce. So three different sauces for you for that pork, or for any other reason you use barbecue. So this one we're going to cook it just to bring it to a boil, just to dissolve the sugars. Then we're going to let it cool. Then we'll put it in a bottle. I am doubling this recipe. Of course, you know that. And it's not going to be shelf ready. It'll be refrigerator ready. I'm going to put it in a jar, but it will have to be refrigerated because I'm not canning this. I am just putting it in a jar. It will keep all of these will keep for a very long time because they are either mustard-based vinegar, ketchup-based vinegar, or mayonnaise-based. As long as you can keep mayonnaise, you can keep an Alabama white sauce. So let's start. However, actually, I did think of something I wanted to tell you. So you see, I have a gas stove, and you see these grates, these, you know, you can clean, you know, take your grates off and clean after you've, you know, used your stove and clean it up nice. But getting the grease off of these things is a pain because getting in here and trying to scrub. So I may be late to the party on this one. Y'all may know this, but just in case somebody's late with me, I took each one. I have 3 grates. I picked them up. I put them lengthwise in my dishwasher. All of a sudden, I had an epiphany that said, there's got to be a better way. Put it in my dishwasher, let it run full cycle. They came out perfect. I will never, ever scrub one of these things again. So just thought I'd share that with you. So let's start on this. So I have plain old 95-cent a jar yellow mustard here. And that's going into my saucepan. 2 cups is what I've got, but I'm going to give you the recipe that you have will be the single recipe, which we'll call it. So it'll call for a cup. Just know that what I'm doing is doubled, so I don't have to keep saying that over and over and over again. So that is 2 cups of yellow mustard. I have 2/3 of a cup of apple cider vinegar. So in that's gonna go. And I do find at this point, it's easier to use a whisk. I'll return to the spoon in just a minute, but at this point, it kind of incorporates a little easier with a whisk. So I'll kind of stir that in, just get that kind of mixed in a little bit. Next comes a cup of honey. Now, I will say that I sprayed my cup with cooking spray, and if you can see, it really does help it come out much easier than if you don't spray it. I'm just in a hurry. I'm not in a hurry, but I'm not gonna make it stand there while it drip dries. All right, so in the honey goes. I have, get my flame going here. I have a cup of brown sugar. So let's get this kind of mixed in. There we go. So now I want 2 tablespoons of ketchup. And I actually also want 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce. So I'm going to use that first so that it goes in a little easier. So there's 1. If you've never had a Carolina Gold mustard sauce on your pulled pork, it also goes good with, you know, if you do a crumbled, it goes good on chicken. It also goes, like if you crumble, we used to call them Maid-Rites in the Midwest. If you do a loose meat sandwich or loose ground beef sandwich, it goes really good on that too. All right. And now our ketchup. Obviously, we're not baking. We don't have to be exact. Exact measurements are for baking. All right. So, you know what? I have to go back because I'm doubling. So I got to do 4. Whoops. I'm glad I caught that. Just like anything else, though, you go to the end, you taste it, and it would have tasted off, but I wouldn't want to show you that either. So I need to double my Worcestershire too. So that's 1, 2. Okay, now let's just make sure I did that right. Yes, I have 2/3 cup. So yeah. Okay, so we're good. Get that mixed in, and we'll add our seasonings. And so I've got kosher salt. So 2 teaspoons because I'm doubling. Black pepper, 2 teaspoons because I'm doubling. Onion powder. And that is 2 teaspoons. And minced onion. Get that in there. And that is it. That is it. We're done. So I'm going to let this come up. And because I just want, and the only reason I cook this is I'm not bringing it to a boil. I'm just I just want all of the sugar to really good dissolve and everything to blend in well. So that's why I'm cooking it. Same thing with I mean, you wouldn't have to necessarily cook this, but to me, that's the only good way to get your sugars to dissolve. All right, so let me get a spoon. It's just delicious. Truly just delicious. And again, you know, you hear me say this all the time. There's always barbecue sauce, homemade barbecue sauce in my refrigerator. This is one of them. I have this one and the red one. The Alabama sauce, I have a tendency to make more for the occasion, but I still like to make it at least a day before because I like the flavors to develop. That's what happens. So that's this. I'm going to put it in some jars and get ready to make the red one. So hang in there with me. Okay, so I have my Carolina Gold in my bottles. I'm not going to put a lid on it yet because it's still pretty warm, as a matter of fact. Let's just put it down over here. And let's start with the red sauce. Now, I call this my mama's spicy red barbecue sauce because this is my mom's barbecue sauce that she uses on ribs. And so now that's the only thing she ever used it on was ribs. But it was so good that I started just making it up and keeping it in the refrigerator. And we put it on chicken. It's just delicious. And again, it keeps forever. Well, for as long as you're going to use it because of all, you know, the vinegar in it and the vinegar and the ketchup. It keeps as long as ketchup does. So we're going to start very simple. Again, pay no attention to my quantities. Yours will be manageable. Like I said, I'm making some stuff for an event and I want to get ahead of myself. So, so you have ketchup. I believe the single recipe is for 3/4 of a cup of ketchup. I've made this a jillion times. Make no mistake. And 3/4 of a cup of water. That's a big 3/4 cup, and I probably should have had, and as a matter of fact, hang on, I gotta get a bigger pot. Okay, much better. That other one was just gonna get too close to the top, and I have a nice clean stove, so let's try and keep it that way. So this one, as I said, was my mom's spicy barbecue sauce. What I have in here is ketchup and water. Don't worry about the measurements. I'll give you the measurements because, like I said, I am making a lot more for mine. But it's just, I'm showing you this method because it is so easy. People think, ooh, making your own barbecue sauce, so hard. You saw, it's just putting a bunch of stuff together. And actually, you don't even have to, you can do it in a bowl. But I like to do it over heat because I like to melt the sugar. That's just me. So to this, speaking of sugar, let's add some, I'm gonna add brown sugar. And to your recipe, it will be a cup. To my recipe, it's a little bit more. Try like 4 cups, but I'm making a lot. So I'm gonna get this, you know, and I try to get it kind of to incorporate after each addition. So when I add the water to the ketchup or the vinegar to the mustard, just to try to keep the blend going, I kind of try to blend after each addition. And I got some good heat going on this. I don't quite need it up that high. And also, you don't want it to burn because sugar will burn if it lays on the bottom of your pan. So just get it so that it's moving. Okay, so I am going to add white vinegar. Just plain old distilled white vinegar. I'm going to add Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. I meant to take that thing out, but I didn't, so I'm not gonna stop now and do it. And then I'm going to add my spices, and we're done. So what I have here is kosher salt, cayenne pepper, paprika. Cayenne pepper is hot. Paprika is not, it's just a flavor. Chili powder is not hot. And then black pepper, which is. So if you don't like spicy, I still urge you to put a little cayenne, a little black in there because you want the flavor. Maybe just not as much as the recipe that you get calls for. Again, the recipe you get will be different than what I'm doing. But we love to make chicken on the grill, grilled chicken, and we grill it, you know, just salt, pepper on it. And then once it's almost done, then I do the same thing in the oven. I roast chicken, and then when it's almost done, or maybe 15 to 20 minutes from done, I paint on this barbecue sauce and let it get all crisp with this on there. Woo, it's so good. And so we're done here, by the way, in case you weren't noticing. The only thing is I do want to bring this up and get it warm because I want everything in here I got a couple of little bumps. I want to get those out. But I want everything in here to dissolve. And then once it does, I am going to add this liquid smoke. This one is hickory liquid smoke, which is the one I use most of the time. And it tastes like, it gives your barbecue sauce or your meat or whatever you're using it for a really nice, as if it was on the smoker, smoked taste. Now, all of you that smoke meat will say I'm crazy because it's not an authentic smoked taste. But it's a very good smoked taste. It's the taste you get in any barbecue sauce, so. All right. So, now is the time that I'll taste it. And I want just a little bit of heat in the back of my throat. I don't want it to explode with heat. Because as it sits, things like this do get warmer too. Just, you know, keep that in mind. But, and that's just perfect. Absolutely just perfect. Because I am, you know, and I wouldn't, even if it's just perfect. I wouldn't make it any hotter or any less hot if I were making it for myself, which I'm making this, like I said, for an event. So I've got my heat right. I'm gonna shake this up. I keep mine in the fridge. It doesn't say refrigerate after opening, I don't believe. Lots of people don't. I do. I'm just one of those people that think if you open something, it should be refrigerated. I know people who don't keep their ketchup in the refrigerator, and to me that's, I don't know. And I know, you know, they keep it out on the tables in restaurants, and that I don't like that. Okay, get another spoon. Perfect. Just perfect. Thanks, Mom. I am truly so glad she showed me how to do this. Now, what she would be surprised is that we use it for all the things we do and not just ribs. But I'm gonna put this in jars and move on to my Alabama white sauce because it's just as easy. Hang in there. Okay, finally, last but certainly not least is our Alabama white sauce, which is a mayonnaise-based barbecue sauce. So so when I serve barbecue, you get 3 options. Plus, if you don't like any of those, you still have ketchup and mustard, mayo if you want. So this is an Alabama barbecue sauce, and it's very good if you've never had such a thing. So, I again pay no attention to the amounts that I'm doing. I will give you, this is a cup of mayonnaise, Duke's of course, if you're in South Carolina. Even though it's an Alabama white sauce, Duke's is the mayonnaise of choice in the South, in this household anyway. So we want to start with mayonnaise. Then I'm going to add some apple cider vinegar. And just like with my other ones, I had to use a little stronger whisk on this because this one you don't want to cook. This one you're just going to mix up in your bowl. And try not to fling it all over your stove. There we go. Nice and creamy. To that, we are going to add the spices, and we're pretty much going to be close to done. Actually, no. First, I'll do I'm going to put some Dijon mustard in here. And let's see, how much of this do I want? Okay. Come on. Here we go. Probably should have left the squirter top on. Hang in there a second. I'm getting there. That's just taking entirely too long. Sure, I'll check my notes. This is so charming. There we go. Every time I bang on this, I think of that lady who tells me that I make too much noise when I bang stuff. Okay, and Worcestershire. So that was Dijon mustard. And now we're going to do some Worcestershire. I got to wipe off my hands because that was loaded and juicy. I'll mix this in. And like I said, I like to mix between additions, just, to keep the mix going. And as you can see, it's making it a little thicker as we go. And now we're going to just add our spices. So I have granulated garlic, black pepper, minced onion, and brown sugar. All that's going in. And then I have a last but not least, of course, you know that. Get this all mixed in. And the last but not least is horseradish. Now, if you're not a fan, don't add it. So I always tell you, do what you like to do, but it is truly one of the major components of this recipe. And whisk. Now this is good again. You use this just like you would use barbecue sauce. So if you're doing your chicken, you barbecue with your chicken. You use it to top, you know, you'll pour pulled pork. Anything that you would use barbecue sauce on, you'll use white barbecue sauce on. And you will love it. If you've never tried it, it's interesting and you'll love it. Taste it always. That is delicious. Just delicious. So we got the red, we got the Carolina Gold, and we got the Alabama White. So I hope you try one of them. We also have the rub for your meat. So this is an informative one. Plus, don't forget you can put these things in your dishwasher. So I gave you lots of stuff today. So you have a great weekend. I will see you Monday. Bye.